was sick last week, but the kids, my grandkids are in public school and, there's all sorts of stuff going on. I wasn't COVID, I went to the test and everything was negative. Oh, how about you?
So far, so good. We keep trying to stay on kids, but it seems like I know one or the other of them is the sniffles. Now it's because they both get so it's Leo this week. We were supposed to see him this weekend. We were tested positive for COVID or not, but
I was gonna say, hasn't he had COVID like 3 times already?
Oliver, the older one, but they keep getting exposed and so they have to quarantine, so we're really more hang out with them. It's not like we can hang out outside right now.
Right.
Although that's what Ken Starter suggested, we just come over and play in the snow with them.
I don't know, I saw a Facebook post from one of our friends and they were up there roasting marshmallows and everybody was outside in their, wearing their clothes and they were just enjoying being up north, don't you know? Don't you know? Yeah. I just looked at it and thought, alien concept, true alien concept.
We actually did last winter, we did have some people come over and we had marshmallows on the fire. And then, on New Year's Eve, Ken did a big bonfire with his kids. It's warm enough, but you have a
The weather is, tomorrow is supposed to be mild, next week is some mild weather coming too. It's been cold, but hasn't been cold steady, so that's good too.
So, maybe we'll make it over there this weekend. I don't know, when you're outside, it's like, personally I do. When we're inside, it's like I can stay for hours. In the snow.
We'll go sit and we'll talk to you later.
Oh, well, we sorry.
You're there up front?
Yes.
Did people call ahead and that's why they have to set up or? So we figured we would be involved. Right.
Who's everybody?
Hey, Joanna.
Hi, everyone.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to be out and about. Glad being out and about.
Oh, yeah.
All week, I work from home now, so it's just like the walls.
Oh, I'm so glad to get out of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm tired of Zoom.
Yeah, the whole thing. The whole thing. Yeah, I think we have to do
Sanford, Shabbat Shalom.
Oh.
Yeah. First time since the renovation?
I think I was here on the first day you guys opened
Oh, yeah,
up,
you guys-
and it's been about since then.
Okay.
So easy when you're broadcasting, so not taking much time.
Have you guys been watching?
Yeah.
I don't give it a lot of serious thought.
Probably not as religious.
I never know where to sit.
Well, that's what I was asking. Do they?
Live, I do.
Okay. I'm always kind of curious because I noticed certain number of people watch more, and then when I look later at the views, I don't watch it.
I think so,
Do we tend to favor
Saturday
Jim?
morning,
I definitely can, doesn't matter where I sit.
No, it doesn't. Well, it does for me for getting up.
I used to know where everyone's favorite seat was.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, no, there's not.
Pat, right, I mean, you just, you know where everyone is. Now I have no clue.
Right.
Nobody else does that.
No, you have to be flexible.
You know, they say blessed be the flexible, so we don't get bent out of shape.
Well.
honestly.
Well, I'll take a seat and certainly I'll stay.
Yeah, no, it's over. We have live stream.
But I'm sitting right there right now.
Front and center?
Yes, yes, I did.
We'll do a honey wife.
I think so. I mean.
Once we get
And where is
hopefully we can do that.
I was waiting on Ken. He was behind me. It's the way it always is.
I forgot I had my caps on, I think, so I meant to take it off.
I hope you're doing well.
Yes.
And your family's well?
Really, yes.
Good.
Anna's in Tel Aviv and enjoying her life there. She just got to, we had 2 trips to Tel Aviv canceled because they closed the border.
That's fine, so we've got one chair here, we gotta get one more chair, so I think I can get one more there, so we'll get one more chair.
Meet her
Here,
because
I got it,
it's
sit down.
open for them to, or the check house is open for them.
Josh, right?
That's
It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting because
the
like
middle ground.
every other
It's hard to recognize people.
conversation that
And
we heard
my
in
hair
the
grew out.
is in Hebrew.
Yeah, but you got a way to deal with it.
Okay. Interesting. I heard Prague's very nice.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I did not.
Yeah, it's like where Disney stuff
Here,
right?
I'll go get it.
Yeah, my parents have a trip planned there, I guess. It's funny, tragic thing. I had it years before, like, in a sense that they are COVID, or I guess 2020. And then they're like, oh, and then obviously.
They still haven't opened it up.
And then they were like, well, let's just do it again. And like, last year, especially like mid-last year, like July, we should be able to travel next year. So they signed up for it again, and now it's like, they're like, no, it's.
No, it's heading down, so, I mean, we haven't put it in the Maldives, planned in 3 weeks.
Just as long as the next variant doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't even get it in before the next year. Plus, I don't mind travel. So there's fewer It is.
Is it super thick? Instead of being super long, like rapid travel, it's like.
I wish you were just like, explain ideas all the way to not like through. It was worth every, I had a lot of fun. It's like I put my phone in there.
It's just kind of like
Well, no,
just
passing.
oh, there you go.
But this one inside.
Oh.
Down instead of this one. So the
No, Smokies was sold out. And the Wonder Bar is no more. And Tornado was too far. I did a fish fry, so it's kind of all long.
Certain things that are, it's just a couple months old.
That's okay, cause I'm,
Yeah, if I want, like, my phone's right, right? That's the one I can run.
Yeah, try the hot water, there is no hot water.
Oh, you must have.
If you want it, unless you just have to leave it.
Where did you end up?
They're in the hotel. In the hotel in Margot.
In Middlesex.
Her back. She checked over my dog. She's doing okay. She's doing much better.
They checked out the doctor, Mark.
I mean, she literally took a step back, tripped over it, hurt, and went, and then landed on the ground. So hitting the coffee table and that. But she didn't hurt.
Very good. Yes.
Thank you.
Right?
Real challenge. I like your sweater. Reminds me of the tapestry that East End.
Yeah. Different colors, but same balance, same.
Well, it's Margot's fault that I have this sweater. Because she didn't have anything to wear on Sunday, so she ordered, she went online and she ordered things at J. Jill for me to pick up.
So how have you been?
So I had to walk into J. Jill.
Oh, so you couldn't resist.
Yeah, so it's Margot's fault. Yeah,
how are we spaced here?
We all work it, all five. It looks about, I'm 1.5, 3, 4, 5. Ah. Got between each. I said, how are we spaced?
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Aren't you glad to be in a nice warm place rather than out there where it's a little cold? And for those of you joining us live online, I know that you are enjoying a warm place. At least I hope that you are. Here in Madison, I thought it was about 15 degrees outside. And who knows where that's going to go. But we are here in this sanctuary. We are here with you. And so it's good to be here on Shabbat as we welcome this day of rest, as we welcome one another in community. For those who are joining us online, in the video description, you have two links you can click on. One is a program that we'll be using tonight because here at Temple Beth El. And the other link will take you to an online version, a flip book version of our prayer book. So if you want to follow along in the prayer book, click on that link and you'll have the ability to find the right prayer book, because it says Shabbat, Weekdays, and Festivals. And be sure to click on the right book when you get to that page. For those here in our sanctuary, we have Mishkan Tefillah that we're using tonight. And of course, I hope you all have a program for tonight too, because that will help you with the words and the different texts we might be referring to. So now we sit back and we let Shabbat come into our lives. This week that has gone by has been heavy for many. It's been difficult, it's been trying, and it's been cold. And now we want to try and process all of that. So we gather in this spot to make us feel part of a community, to enable us, really, to give off love to one another, because that's what this is all about. Cantor? Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Last week in the Torah portion, following the revelation of the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai, God responds to the anxiety of the people because the people were upset. The people could not take the sounds of the thunder and the visions of the lightning. And God cries out to them. And God says, don't be afraid because I've come only in order to test you, or some people would translate that to elevate you, and in order that your awe of God be present and to make sure that you don't go astray as you ride and as you walk through the desert. You know, we are all tested by life. Sometimes we might feel we're all elevated by life. But we wonder how we might respond when we are tested along the way through our lives. On this Reproductive Rights Shabbat, we will explore the challenge of reproductive health care in our lives and maybe hear some voices that are familiar. I don't know. We are all impacted by access to reproductive health care in different ways. So we come to this Shabbat ready to explore our tradition's law and wisdom on this issue and our work in the public to advocate for just access for the many women who need quality reproductive care and an understanding that our experiences matter, our stories matter, and our presence for the women of the world matters as well. Thank you, God, for the gift of life with which you bless us each day. Thank you for the gift of light that allows us to see, to know, to feel, and to express ourselves. As a sign of Shabbat, may your light and truth continue to shine on us. When we light these Shabbat candles, we stand against hatred, against bigotry, and violence that we find in the world. When we stand against hatred, we break down the barriers of our lives, and we stand with one another in love and support. And when we stand together, we feel confident that our words and deeds are one. Praised are you, O God, who allows us all to see by your light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
With the lighting of the candles, by our gathering in this community, by our taking a Shabbat spirit into our hearts, and the hope of rest, whether we get it or not might be another question, but the hope of rest in our minds and our souls, we enter into this place now. We welcome Shabbat into our lives. May the breaths of this day enable us to know rest and recreation that God ordained for us on this Shabbat. And may our voices raise a shout in support of our Creator, who gave to us knowledge and wisdom and joy and exaltation and justice and peace. We begin Kabbalat Shabbat on page 130 with L'chu Niranana.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzur isheinu. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzur isheinu. Nekadma panav betodah, bizmirot nariya lo. Nekadma panav betodah, bizmirot nariya lo. Ki el gadol Adonai, umelech al kol Elohim, asher biyado mechkerei haaretz, v'toafot harim lo. Asher biyado mechkerei haaretz, v'toafot harim lo. Yai lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 ya lai 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 lai.
A second piece for Kabbalat Shabbat is Lecha Dodi on page 138 in the prayer book, page 138. Lecha Dodi, a formal welcome to that imagery of Shabbat coming into our lives and consorting with Israel, its mate, on this Shabbat. Page 138, we're offering verses 1, 5, 6, and 9 tonight.
Lecha Dodi, Yada-da-da-da, likrat kala. Yada-da-da-da, p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Yada-da-da-da, lecha dodi. Yada-da-da-da, likrat kala. Yada-da-da-da, p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Yishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet V'nitila Yai lai lai Yada-da-da-lai lecha dodi Yada-da-da-lai likrat kala Yada-da-da-lai p'nei Shabbat P'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Verse 5.
Itoreri Orech Kumi Ori Uri Uri Shir Daberi Kivod Adonai
Alayich nigla Yai lai lai Ya la 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 lecha dodi Ya la 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 likrat
kala
Ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 6. Lo tevoshi Velo tikalni Ma tishtochi U'ma teheni בחצו עניי עמי ונבנתה עיר על תילה יאי לי לי יאללה לה לה לי לך תודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה אוי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה יאי לי לי יאללה לה 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 לך תודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת פני שבת נקבל יאללה לה 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 לך תודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת פני שבת How good it is to offer this music, this Kabbalat Shabbat. It warms us up a little bit before we begin formal worship. We continue on page 140 with the psalm for the Shabbat day, Tov Lehodot Ladonai, page 140.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשם העליון טוב להודות לאדוני טוב להודות לאדוני טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשם העליון טוב להודות לאדוני להגיד בבוקר חסדך להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות ואמונתך בלילות טוב להודות לאדוני להגיד בבוקר חסדך להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות ואמונתך בלילות טוב להודות לאדוני. Because there is hate, dear God, help us heal our fractured and broken world. Because there is fear, dear God, grant courage and faith to those in need. Because there is pain, dear God, bring healing to the shattered and the wounded. Because there is hope, dear God, teach us to be a force for justice and kindness. Because there is love, dear God, help us to be a beacon of light and compassion. We continue with Baruch Hu on page 146. We invite the community to rise. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
On page 149, we read together at the top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
We turn now to our supplement. I don't recall which page in the
Page
supplement.
3 and 4.
Page 3 and 4. This is a poem by Rabbi Rami Shapiro on this theme of God's everlasting love, Ahavat Olam, and that it's very much like the love that we give to one another in all kinds of aspects of our lives. With God, we're talking about love through the giving of Torah, through the giving of instruction or guidance, but that love and that gift is better equated to the kind of love that's expressed in the guidance that a parent might offer to their child or a teacher to their student. And so we think about all the ways that we are loved and that we give love to one another. So I want to try just this, we are loved by an unending love. If you were here with us last week, either those who are in person or online, you may recall, and if not, you'll hopefully pick up on it very soon. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. Let's try that together. We
are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves.
The melody continues. We are touched
by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear.
We are loved.
We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love.
Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, and the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We continue in the prayer book, page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. We continue on page 154 at the top. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. In Micha Mocha, we offer a prayer of deliverance, of liberation, and so I would like to offer this little thought before we speak about deliverance. Help us, God, creator of all, to continue to open our hearts and hands to those in our world who are in need of liberation. The orphans, the hungry, the ill, abandoned, oppressed, violated, those without hope or those addicted, the violent, the homeless, the imprisoned, the victimized. They all seek the freedom of the human soul. Help us deliver it to them. We know, God, parent and guardian of all, that there are more people in need of liberation than we can possibly know about, more whose lives, for many reasons, are hidden from our view, more who are not only not seen and not heard, but whose needs and lives are altogether almost forgotten by the adults who hold all the power in their world. We are confident, God, loving one, that their need is not unseen by you. Their cries are not unheard by you, nor their lives unremembered by you. So we would ask that you show them to us and open our ears to their pleas. And when you believe that we are ready, bring us into their lives so that we might join together and celebrate human liberation. Micha Mocha is 158. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Lai, 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 lai. Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai. Micha Mocha
Tehilot,
Oseh,
Oseh,
Melech,
Melech,
Norah,
Norah,
Tehilot,
Tehilot,
Oseh,
Oseh,
Melech,
Melech,
Malchutecha ra'u banecha, חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים זה לי ענו ואמרו אדוני
Adonai,
ימלוך
Yimloch,
לעולם
Leolam,
ועד
Va'ed,
אדוני
Adonai,
ימלוך
Yimloch,
לעולם
Leolam,
ועד
Va'ed, Yai, Lai, Yai, Lai, 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 Yai, Lai, Yai, Lai, 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 Yai, Lai, 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 Yai, Lai, 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 Yai, Lai, 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 Lai.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We know that the world and all it contains can be a beautiful place, and it can also be a very frightening place to some people. The rabbis created the following prayer hashkivenu as a way to say, have courage that we will be able to find something good in this night and certainly find something good tomorrow. On page 5 of the supplement, actually, we have 4 paragraphs. I'm going to ask us to read it responsively. This prayer to sort of share with us some of the thoughts that may come out of our minds when it's nighttime, when it's cold, and when we might be more lonely than we're accustomed to, and then be able to find good feelings the next day. So we'll read responsively. Source of life and choice, ruler of the universe, you who planted the tree of knowledge in the garden, to know between good and evil, you who granted human beings free choice, be with us in this time. Holder, guard, keep us safe. Source of life and choice, Rachel is weeping for her children. She pours out her grief, and we are awash in her tears. Lift up the nishamot, the souls of our fallen. Comfort their families. Memory eternal, be with us. Source of life and choice, you who know of birth and death and the life that exists between. Bless our healers, bless our health. Bless our hands as we work to heal our brokenness. Bless our treatments as they bring good life to us all. Shield caregivers from harm. For our rabbis, teach us that one on their way to perform one of your holy commandments is themselves shielded from harm. Healer, soother, treat us. Source of life and choice, you who are our wellspring, our source, who brings renewal and sustenance. You are the deep well we draw from, the well where Rebekah stood, the waters that Miriam caused to pour forth, the waters of the Nile that Yocheved trusted. Source of life and choice, bless these sacred spaces of decision. We continue on page 160, I think.
Offering a chatimah together for that prayer of protection with one another. Page 160, toward the bottom, we'll offer the chatimah together. I think we'll know the tune, hopefully. Baruch atah, atah Adonai,
Haporei Sukkot Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim Shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. ve'al Yerushalayim shalom.
Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
The strength of our people has been found in both the silences and the words that make up our lives. Words, songs, praises, and exaltations for those moments of majesty and quiet meditative moments for finding the truth within that we can express only in quiet prayer or in silence. May we each find a time and a sound that helps us to express our thoughts and our hopes and our doubts to the source of power as we now begin Tefillah. Tefillah begins on page 164. We invite the community to rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 166.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo ve'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. 168.
Ata gibor leolam Adonai
Mechaye hakol ata, Rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha bal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua.
V'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol.
Amen. Page 170.
Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Amen. You may be seated. Our worship continues with silent prayer, understanding that the prayers ahead of us in the prayer book are prayers thanking God for this day, thanking God for the privilege of worship, offering general thanksgiving for all that we have, and then asking God for peace. Now, those may be some of the things that you hope for and some of the things we all hope for, but there might be other things that you are particularly searching for in your lives, in your hearts, and so be sure to add those as well. We pause for a few moments of silent prayer.
And we'll be meeting back together on page 180 in a little while.
I'm not alone, 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 for a minute, I'm not alone, 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 the world I'm not alone, 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 I'm not alone. Ose shalom bimromav uya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ose shalom bimromav uya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav uya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ose shalom bimromav uya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru amen. Tonight's Kiddush, as always, is found on page 123. So please join us there as we offer Kiddush for this Erev Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. There are gremlins in the system, I don't know. Shabbat Shalom. Careful observers of rabbis' sermons know, at least as far as this rabbi is concerned, that I like to begin my Shabbat holiday remarks with an attention-getting story. Tonight, my sermon may not have a funny or amusing side. It really is quite serious. The Talmud tells us that saving one life is as though one has saved the whole world. And even though this is somewhat metaphorical, still this is something we should take along with us in our personal lives, in our professional pursuits, and in our communal engagement in the realm of social justice. Now, this Talmudic dictate undergirds and supports everything we do. And it was present in my mind this past week when we observed the 49th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court decision which established the precedent, or so we thought, of a person's right to reproductive choice. Now, the life that I referred to before, that is saved by Roe v. Wade, is the life of any woman who desires to manage her own reproductive choices. The Guttmacher Institute, the leading international research and policy organization in the field of sexual and reproductive health, estimates that between 20 and 25% of all American women will have an abortion by the age of 45. So the number of lives that could be saved is, well, we might say, significant. As we know, the Supreme Court in January of 1973, by a 7-2 ruling, declared that a pregnant woman has the right to choose whether to have an abortion. That the Supreme Court today stands perilously close to reversing this 49-year-old precedent is bad enough. The harsh reality for us in Wisconsin and for those residing in 8 other states is that our current state law and their current state laws, which the Roe decision has until now been made moot, outlaws abortion altogether. Further, since 1973, 11 other states have enacted prohibitions of abortion in the event that Roe would one day be overturned. So what that means is that on day one of an abolished Roe decision, 20 states, including Wisconsin, will immediately have laws that will criminalize abortion. But we know a different reality, because if abortion is outlawed, it won't be the end of abortion, but it will be, or it could be, the end of safe abortions, because women will seek out their own solutions to the problems they face, but their lives will be at great risk. They might return to the pre-1973 world of illegal, unsafe, unclean, back alley procedures. They might need to raise money to travel to states where abortions remain legal. This patchwork reality is impossible to fathom, but terribly important to understand and, in my opinion, prevent. As with so many tender and personal matters in our day, the issue of reproductive choice is a political lightning rod. In the opinion of many, and in the view of Judaism of all streams, reproductive choice and the decision to undergo an abortion are personal issues to be decided by a person, her doctor, and, it would be hoped, a partner parent who ultimately supports the patient. But those on the anti-abortion side have concluded that all of that should be the government's business and the government's concern and under the government's control. And in most cases, they would pay no attention to the needs of the woman. So at this difficult and uncertain time, I wanted to remind us how Judaism understands this matter and how we in the Jewish community need to respond to a Supreme Court decision that would limit reproductive rights or perhaps reverse the precedent established almost 50 years ago in Roe v. Wade. In the Torah portion this week that we'll read tomorrow here and on our Bima, we find one of the primary Jewish legal source texts for the recognition of the status of a fetus. Now, this is from the book of Exodus, chapter 21, and it reads, "When people fight and one of them pushes a pregnant woman and a miscarriage results, but no other damage ensues, the one responsible shall be fined according to what the woman's husband may exact from him, the payment to be based on an estimation. But if a tragedy ensues, meaning if a woman dies or if the woman is otherwise injured in the incident, their penalty," going back to the Torah, "the penalty shall be life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise." In other words, if someone accidentally causes a miscarriage to take place, they're obligated to pay financial damages only. The case is not treated as killing or murder, which could summon forth the death penalty. Causing the termination of a pregnancy in the eyes of Judaism or in the eyes of Torah is not considered murder. Now, in the later years of Jewish textual development, we actually hear rabbinic voices essentially agreeing with the Torah. What else would we anticipate? And underscoring that a fetus, for the purposes of legal definition and medical consideration, is not equivalent to human life. Consider this. Until the 40th day following conception, the Talmud asserts that the fetus is, quote, simply like water, and then goes on to declare that after the 40-day threshold, a fetus still is not an independent being. It is as its mother's thigh, that is, much like a bodily limb. One source affirms that a fetus is a person only in potentia up until a time that the head emerges from the birth canal and the first breath of life is taken. Now, this last text that I'm referring to is admittedly an uncomfortable text to read because it demands that the midwife must, not can, mind you, but must dismember the fetus to save the woman's life if she is in hard labor and her life is at risk. Only if the majority of the birth has taken place and the larger part of the baby has been delivered, only then is the midwife allowed, is to allow the birth to take place and proceed, because as the text says, it is a life for a life, and then it's up to heaven to decide. Now, the legal hook of all this conception, pun not intended, is that the fetus can technically be declared a pursuer, a person who is threatening to take a life, that is, the life of the mother. According to Jewish law, if a pursuer pursues us to kill us, we are commanded by Jewish law to take that person's life. So in the birthing example, the fetus is seen, if the fetus is causing trouble, I need to say, if the fetus is seen as if it's causing trouble, then it's pursuing the life of the mother. And the midwife has the responsibility to take the life of the fetus so as to save the mother. Now, again, bear in mind that these are not modern voices of liberal Jewish tradition. These are mainline Orthodox authorities and guidelines that are hundreds of years old and supported even today in most Jewish circles. Jewish law, of course, is not considered, let alone understood, when making public policy in our nation, and that is as it should be. We feel, however, that any laws that restrict our understanding and practice relating to any religious matter, well, they would violate the First Amendment's Establishment Clause, and therefore should never be considered. One religion's views should never be considered over others. And this is the reason that we rabbis need to remind our congregations of the Jewish approach to this very personal matter. But I also would want to say something about the compassionate side of the Jewish approach. Remember that the Jewish approach is permissive and leaves any and all of these decisions up to the person whose pregnancy we're talking about. If the woman, for whatever reason, wants to carry a child to term, that should be her right, and we need to support her. If the woman needs to stop a problematic pregnancy, she too needs our support and comfort. Each of these decisions is momentous. It's an important decision-making moment for that person, believe me, she will need all the support that we could possibly bring to her. Now, at this perilous time, there actually are two pieces of legislation that we can support to help reverse the effects of the dissolution or the decision against the precedent at the Supreme Court, or even a weakening of that precedent. One is a proposal here in the state of Wisconsin, and it's called the Abortion Right Preservation Act. It was introduced a year ago by legislators Kelda Royce and Lisa Subeck, and it was reintroduced just last week on the eve of the 49th anniversary of Roe. This legislation would repeal the 1849 archaic Wisconsin abortion ban. That's how old that law is, 1849. Now, the second bit of legislation that deserves our active support is the National Women's Health Protection Act, a law that passed the House of Representatives this past fall and now needs to pass the U.S. Senate. This law would safeguard access to high-quality reproductive health care and secure women's constitutional rights by protecting patients and providers from dangerous political interference. Even at a time when there are many issues confronting us in our society and before our lawmakers, we must urge our legislators at the state and federal level to pass these two laws. Lives literally depend on it. As Jews, we believe in the power of compassion to build a just and fair society. A compassionate nation ensures equal access to quality, timely health care for everyone. Equal access to abortion nationwide will allow individuals to achieve their social and economic goals and promote reproductive and moral autonomy and the right for everyone to determine the path of their own lives. Passing those two laws may not be easy tasks, but as a community, we must strive toward building and preserving our society as a place when all people can thrive in our communities with the dignity of shared humanity. I hope that you join me in supporting that legislation and supporting the women in our community. Shabbat Shalom. We now would like to invite you to turn to the supplements that you have before you. And if you open to page 4, for those people who need healing, for those people who need our touch, even sometimes that we can't touch them as much as we would like these days, for those people who need our attention because of the coronavirus, or because they are suffering prejudice, or because they are suffering other kinds of health matters, or because they live in nations that are on the verge of collapse, or perhaps they are our wounded service personnel serving our country, or perhaps they are innocent victims of terror. These and others need our prayers at this time. We have a large number of people on our healing list. We have over 100 people whom we know about, who need special prayers of healing and wholeness. And there may be people in this community tonight who also know of someone who needs those special prayers. And if you would like to offer that name in this space, we would now invite you to do so. Are there other people we should be thinking about?
If I may.
Please.
This song, this prayer that the rabbi and I offered right after our silent prayers, was written by a couple of New Yorkers in August of 2020, in the wake of that initial wave of COVID that hit New York, when everyone was having to isolate and be very, very alone in so many different ways. And so as we offer a prayer for healing, we want to take a moment to offer prayers for healing. I wanted to take that and actually make it a healing prayer. And so I added this little bit from our liturgy as well. And so we'll offer this together. Rabbi and I will help, and we'll make this a moment with one another.
I'm not alone, I'm not alone, I'm not alone. 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 I'm not alone, I'm not alone.
I forgot
I'm not
for a
alone,
minute
I'm not alone.
who I
I'm not alone,
belong
I'm not
to.
alone.
Mama Earth,
I'm not alone,
and rain,
I'm not alone.
beauty
I'm
and
not alone,
pain.
I'm not alone. I'm not alone, I'm not alone.
Me, the world
Not
was
alone,
created.
I'm not alone. I'm not alone, I'm not alone.
Dust I
I'm
will
not alone,
return.
I'm not alone. I'm not alone, 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 I'm not alone.
Rifa'enu
I'm not alone,
Adonai
I'm not alone.
B'nei
I'm not
Raphael.
alone, I'm not alone.
Oshienu,
I'm not alone,
Oshienu,
I'm not alone.
B'ni
I'm not alone, I'm not alone. I'm not
And
alone.
even when
Not
I'm
alone.
afraid,
I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I'm not
love
alone.
is
Not
always
alone.
near.
I'm not alone.
I'm not alone, I'm not alone. I'm not alone, I'm not alone. I'm not alone, I'm not alone. I'm not alone, I'm not alone. Amen.
Amen. Let no one be alone. We continue on page 586 with Aleinu. We invite the community to rise. Page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula le'otzer breshit, shehu noteh shamayim ve'yosed aretz, umoshav yikaro, bashamayim mimahal, u'shechinatu zo b'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu, אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
You may be seated. And we continue on page 589. And we offer this prayer at the top of the page together. 589. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Page 591.
V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
On page 594, we continue. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. At this sacred moment, we call to mind those who passed away in recent days and those whose Yartzeiten occur at this time, and maybe others whose memories reside in our hearts. If you are present tonight in the sanctuary here in mourning or observing a Yartzeit, we invite you to rise as the name of your loved one is recited, and then you'll be joined by the rest of the community in a few moments as we offer the Kaddish together. For those of you watching online, we know that we are thinking of some loved ones of yours as well. And so as we offer these prayers, know that we are standing for you as you remember those whom you loved too. On this night, these are the loved ones whom we are remembering at this time. We are remembering Shulamit Elkayam, the mother of Rachel Goldstein, the grandmother of Noah and Ari Greenlee. Paula Sarnoff Orrick, mother-in-law of Karen Orrick. Colton Hunt, nephew of Bill and Linda White. And Ron Walker, husband of Janice Walker, stepfather of Ari Davidson and Joshua Davidson. And by the way, Ron's funeral will be Sunday at 1 p.m. here in our sanctuary. And these are the Yartzeiten that we observe at this time. In continuing remembrance, we call to mind and we honor the memories of Ben Bleiweiss, Richard Blue, Sam J. Karimi, Anna Louise Cohen, Dr. David H. Drazen, Linda Feinberg, Herman Goldstein, Henry A. Gray, Ivor Karp, Dorothy H. Kravitz, Anna Levy, Martha Marks, Charles Marks, Nellie Mitzman Schwartz, Edith Nemitz, Nancy Nupnow, Joel Ogish, Leon S. Rodems, Lily Kalen Rose, Muriel W. Rothberg, Iola Rutter, Leo Schachter, Sandra R. Schwartz, Bertha Schwartz, Marlene Selpian, Herman H. Shapiro, Gordon Sinekin, Louis Sobel, Karuna Thal, Frank Tietz, Francis Warner, Gerald White, and Faye Zarofsky, all of blessed memory. There may be other people in our sanctuary tonight, again, who may be remembering others whose names were not on our Kaddish list, but if you would like to add your loved one's name to this list, we invite you to do so. Zichronam livracha. May all their memories be blessings in our hearts and the hearts and minds of all those who knew and loved them. Testifying to the faith that binds the generations of our people together, we now invite everyone to turn to page 598 and all rise as we recite together the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Again, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah. Be'alma divra chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach, ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh, ve'yithadar ve'yit'aleh ve'yithalal, Shmei Dekudsha Brihu. Le'ela min kol bir chata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imeru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru.
Amen.
May God send peace to you who mourn and comfort to those who are bereaved. And we say, Amen. Please be seated. In a few moments, our service will conclude, and when it does, please be sure to get a cookie to go from our sisterhood, our Oneg to go, sponsored by our Temple Bethel sisterhood, with the cookies provided by Just Bakery. Wonderful institution here in Madison, which allows people coming back into society after a period in prison and create skills and to learn a trade and to go out into the world and become, again, part of our wonderful society. So be sure to take a cookie and think of the people whom we are helping by our sisterhood's grace and benevolence. Let's see. Just a number of other announcements. First of all, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, there will be Torah study led by Steve Olson, and that will be on Zoom. Also at 10:30 tomorrow morning, here in our sanctuary, we welcome to the Bima Etta Rice, the daughter of Katie and Josh Rice, as a bat mitzvah. You can be here again in person, or you can watch on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Shabbat services next week. Next week on Friday, February 4th, will be at 6 p.m. next week, and we'll have Shabbalala. Shabbalala is our intergenerational service of fun, music, and stories and such, and it's going to be with the participation of our 3rd and 4th graders in our religious school. And that'll be on YouTube, or, again, the sanctuary is open. Come and join us here. And also next Shabbat morning, a week from tomorrow, there will be Torah study at 9 o'clock, led by Steve Craig on Zoom. And then also at 10:30, there will be a service here at TBE and also on YouTube of our 6th grade. Now, the 6th graders get a chance to question the clergy. It used to be that they would stump the clergy, but they actually never stumped the clergy. What can you do?
Unless they ask some really unfair questions.
Which they did on occasion. But now we're just making it a learning service for our 6th graders, and we'll have some fun a week from tomorrow morning.
And because they get to ask questions, we all get to help and learn from their benefit. So it really will be an opportunity for it to be a learner service for anybody who wants to tune in.
Right.
And hear what kinds of questions an 11-year-old might have about our worship.
Absolutely. So join us for that online. And if you have any questions about anything that we've spoken about today, or if you want to get more details or to register for some of the programming, please be sure to go to our website, tbemadison.org. One or two other announcements. First of all, thank you to our board of trustees, who are the stewards of this community, who give us heat and light even in the coldest days of winter. Thank you to our donors who made this sanctuary space so compatible to post-COVID and end of COVID days, which is what we hope we are in. And thank you all who are members of this community who support us by your largesse. And thank you guests who have joined us tonight as well. We're so glad to have everybody here tonight. Thank you for wearing your masks properly and being vaccinated. To people who are watching online, you should know that proof of vaccination is required for entry to attend services here in person. We also perform contact tracing. So that means if you all here tonight, if you test positive for COVID within the next 5 days after being here, please contact Stephanie Kushner, our executive director, and let her know. And if we receive notification of anyone who was present tonight or any other night like this, testing positive within the 5-day period, we will notify you who are present. And for that reason, we ask people to let us know who was here when you came in, so that is our contact tracing list for the next 5 days. So just take care of yourselves and, God willing, stay healthy. Anything else that we need to announce? Oh, I actually have one. For those people who are part of our committee structure and who are involved in events that committees and task forces and working groups perform here at Temple, this coming Sunday afternoon from 3:30 to 5:30, there is the Community Knesset, which is a meeting of all of the leaders of all of our active committees, and they look at next year's calendar and try to make sense of all the dates. And again, we will welcome here to this sanctuary at 1 o'clock this coming Sunday the family of Ron Walker, who is assembling, and for a memorial service and funeral for him. And we're so touched, Janice, by your presence here tonight and your family's presence. So thank you. Thank you all. Cantor.
So I want to turn our attention to our supplement one last time. There is a song that has been making its way around the American Jewish community for a little while now, for the last few years. And we offered it here, I think last time was at our Social Action Shabbat. And it's really about the voices that we all have, that we do in fact have the power to create the kind of change that we hope to see in the world. And so I want to just make sure that we can really join in the chorus all together. So I'm going to
Page 6.
Page 6 in our supplement. I'm going to ask you just to repeat after me for a moment so we can really have this all together. I have a voice.
I have a voice.
My voice is powerful.
My voice is powerful.
My voice can change the world.
My voice can change the world.
I have a voice.
I have a voice.
My voice is powerful.
My voice is powerful.
My voice can change the world.
My voice can change the world.
Change the world.
Change the world.
Just have to repeat after me. I will open my eyes.
I will open my eyes.
I will not look away.
I will not look away.
I will use this gift I've been given every day.
I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world.
Change the world. I will give of myself.
I will give of myself.
I will reach out my hand.
I will reach out my hand.
I will use this heart I've been given to take a stand.
I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam she'asanu B'Tselem Elohim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam she'asanu B'Tselem Elohim.
I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world.
I will fight for the truth.
I will fight for the truth.
I'll stand up for what's right.
I'll stand up for what's right.
I will use this strength I've been given
To be alive, I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Enjoy the day.